can watch
We're
it
here to
too.
discuss traveling to Italy. Not everyone gets to do it, but if you do go to Italy, we have some little advice, I should
That's
say,
right.
safety
Inside.
tips,
Say a lot of safety.
things that will help. What would it help?
It
Help
would
your trip.
help you enjoy your trip. Muchos grande. That's Mexican or
Okay.
that's Spanish. So, but just so you know, I do have some language experience also.
Yes. And
See,
speaking of language experience, the reason we can discuss Italy on this podcast is because both me, Chris, and my brother, mio fratello Michele, Mike,
see.
I lived there for 8 years,
Yeah.
and I've visited a couple of times. I went to school there, high school, junior high, high school, got to run the streets with my little gang of 10-year-olds,
There you go.
raising
In two major
AT
cities
double
in Italy.
six. And Mike, what's your experience in Italy?
Well, I spent 4 years and living there for 4 years. Yeah, because I left in '79, so exactly 4 years. And then we just went back and we were in the process of buying a house in Guardia San Tremonte. So there's that. I mean, that's a little bit, obviously, if you're buying a house, you're the real deal. Come on. You know what I'm saying? But it never actually happened. So, take it as what's the way. But, and then, you speak Italian, right? I mean, I don't even know. You speak.
I thought I could speak Italian until I got to Italy just this last week.
That's what I thought too.
I can speak Italian in my head, I've realized.
Well, it's hilarious. I could speak Italian, but then I couldn't understand what they said back to me. So they could understand, or I mean, I assumed they could understand me, and they'd come rattling back, and I had to finally go, I'm not, I mean, unless I absolutely have to, I am not even attempting because, I mean, in my mind, I can make it sound like I speak Italian pretty well. And I do pronounce things pretty well because, you're there for years and you hear it. We grew up in Montreal, right? We spent time in Montreal around the French Canadians, took French forever, got to Italy, didn't ever become fluent in Italian. I never did. But I mean, I just, for some reason, could do all the pronunciation, roll the R's. Anyway, so I would say something Italian. They thought I spoke Italian a lot better than I obviously did. And so I just want to say, hey, you're going to have to speak English because I couldn't understand it. Well, that's not true. I could understand a little bit. I was sitting in a taxi cab with a taxi driver. We were talking about fishing in Oregon. So I guess I could make myself understood a little bit, but
yeah,
that's fisherman and Italian.
Hey. Well, I just want to orient our vast audience to what we're speaking of. And here's the United States of America.
There you go.
And this is Italy right here, the boot, the famous Italian boot. Yep.
Yeah.
So I was just going to interject that I just returned from Italy last week. So I'm like, it's fresh in my mind.
Yes,
and the things I feel that we should cover real quick, just for people that may be traveling there or thinking about going is, going through the EU system to get into Rome, and then the transportation in Rome, or if you want to leave Rome. So, buses, metro, taxi, trains. And then kind of what I was constantly encountering every day was the bathroom situation. How do I find the next not that I go to the bathroom a lot, but there's two of us.
Il bagno.
But I'll kind of hit on that a bit because, they don't have public toilets like we do here in the United States. So it's a little bit of a challenge. The food, obviously, we can't leave out the food. And then a little important tip on the ATMs in Italy, getting money.
Yeah, did you get screwed over there?
No, because I was alerted before I went, and I'm going to bring that in so everybody will know how to avoid the screw over.
I didn't get screwed over there, which may be an impolite term, but I didn't get ripped off or robbed. But using the ATM machines was a little bit better than don't use the exchanges. If you really want to get robbed, that's where you get robbed. They'll ding you for 20%. And I
right.
I got dinged pretty good. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt
But
there.
yeah,
Go ahead.
just on the ATM thing, I went to Guardia to see our brother Steve, and I said, "Hey, I need to get some money." He's like, "Well, this is how you get money here in Italy." We went to the post office, use the ATM at the post office
Right.
because it's government, I guess, run. So you don't have a lot of charges. You just have your typical service charge and international charge.
Yeah, it's a
So it's a
few
few
bucks. It's
bucks.
a lot cheaper. What so where did you when you were coming in, because I know they changed, you have to have a visa now, correct? Coming in.
No, no, I didn't get any visa. I didn't tell anybody I was going to be there. I went. Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. It's kind of
I knew. You told me.
covert mission, huh?
I
And I
told them.
actually flew into Munich, and I was in terminal. My wife and I were in terminal whatever G, and we kind of looked around like, where are we? You have to take buses, and so we spent like 20 minutes just like, okay, and we said, okay, we need to take a bus to the other terminal. So we take the bus to the other terminal, then we go up, and there's like immigration, and there's a Polizei in a booth, and it's just me and my wife and this Polizei guy in this glass booth. So we walk up, we're like, hey, we're going to Terminal K. He's like, okay, how long are you going to be staying? We're like, what? In
I think
Terminal
you
K
guys
or in
fell through
Italy?
the cracks. That doesn't sound normal. The fact
Yeah,
that you left one terminal without going through immigration.
right. And so I said, he's like, oh, you're going to Italy? Yes. Okay. How long are you going to be staying there? I think where he was talking about Terminal K. I'm like, I'm not going to stay in Terminal K for more than an hour or two, if possible. But anyways, he was talking about Italy. So he was processing me and my wife to go to Italy in Germany, in Munich. So it
Right.
was
But that's all the
strange.
EU. That's the whole thing. That's the EU. You're in the
Yeah.
EU.
And I didn't I
Like
didn't
being a
realize it until
post.
afterward.
Yeah. So
Correct.
you're flying into that's your entry into the EU. Yeah, yeah. Because
Right.
it
So
kind
it was really, it made it so much easier because we went through really quickly. And then we got to Rome and we just went and got our bags. There was no customs, immigration, all that.
right.
Usually standing in line for an hour to get processed, which we did coming back to the United States. Took about an hour to get through that. And I'm an American citizen. It would have been quicker to cross the border on foot. And this,
And probably
which was a
probably
consideration. Next time, I'm just going to fly into Mexico City and have a mule meet
yeah.
me.
Well, they'll probably give you $1,500 to do it that way, from what
And
I
if I
hear.
take someone with me, I get money.
Okay,
If I
we
can
can
just
cover
grab
that.
someone off the street and just
Making
take them
money.
with me, they pay me on the other side.
We're gonna cover that in another video. How to make money coming in and out of the United States. All right. So now, what'd you think of the whole? Okay, so you're traveling. You guys went down to the terminal in Rome to get a train. How did that? Did you find that simple? Was it complicated? What'd you think?
Well, actually, it was easy. It was much like Germany. The metro was like the U-Bahn in Germany, very efficient, and the metro would come by every 5 or 10 minutes. It was always crowded. All of Rome was crowded, but it was very convenient as far as the metro. The taxis were
Wait,
pretty
wait,
good,
wait,
a little
wait.
expensive, but as long as
Now
you
wait.
get a taxi, it's got a
How did you get
meter.
there?
You don't have to
Tell
worry
me how
about
you
getting
got
ripped
here,
off.
or how you got. So you took the metro to Termini? Is that what you said?
No, actually the first day we took a taxi to our Airbnb. It was late at
Okay.
night, which wasn't a bad. They say no more than 60 US dollars or 60 euros, and we took a metered cab, which is preferred, and it was about that. It was about $60 to get to our Airbnb.
Yeah.
But after that, we used the metro mainly,
So you
which,
actually you used the underground subway, right?
yes, the metro, yeah, which
See,
is
now
convenient,
we
but it
never
is
used that when we
confusing.
were there. Was it easy to use, or what? So what do you use?
Well,
Like,
the tickets, you buy tickets, you can buy 90 minutes or 2 days or one day. And it seemed like you buy the tickets and then you go, you have the special doors. You put the ticket in, and doors open, you go through, you get on the metro. Sometimes the ticket wouldn't work. So we're like, oh, so we go buy another ticket. And we come back and the door is like, oh, the door doesn't work. And we just bought a ticket. So at one point we had like 4 or 5 tickets.
Just kick the
For
door
one
in.
day. So we're like, because then we realized, well, crap, it's the doors. It's not the ticket. Tickets are good. So we got 5 tickets, all
Well,
last 24
there's
hours.
only one door onto the metro.
No, they have like 4 or 5 doors you pass through.
Right.
So sometimes one of the doors doesn't work. And of course, they don't tell you that. And you're
No.
trying to work your ticket, and everyone else is using their doors, laughing at you. And then they see me go back and buy another ticket that still doesn't work. But anyway, so be careful of that. If you're using a metro, try other doors with your ticket before you run off and get another ticket.
And I'm laughing. I'm laughing because when we were kids growing up in Italy in 1970, in the 70s, they were actually digging the tunnels for that metro in the 70s. They finally finished.
I remember that.
They finally finished it. What, in the 90s, I think.
Yeah, maybe even 2000. Yeah, it was. It took a while, but
yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
And they're still working on it.
Every time they went 5 feet, they were digging through ancient Rome the entire time, and so they had to bring in an archaeological group to go through, and so it was like this massive endeavor.
And I hit on this at the beginning of our little podcast here about bathrooms using toilets, which is kind of cool because Soruba has the Barnyard Bio, which is basically a toilet treatment.
That's right.
And you can use it in your RV and everything. And it would probably be very practical in Italy with the way that some of their toilets are. Because what it does is it'll break down the solid organic waste to turn it into like a sludge. And it's easy to move once and also it eliminates odor. Any organic odor will be eliminated with the Barnyard Bio by Soruba.
So it kills that sulfur dioxide, that sulfurous.
Yeah, it gets rid of the ammonia, and the odors that create the bad odors of organic waste.
Yeah.
It eliminates it right out of the air. So it's really a quality of life issue just in the smell alone. But about the bathrooms in the metro, what it is you put your Euro in there, and these steel doors open up, and you go inside to use the bathroom, and then the steel doors close, and you're inside this chamber. And of course, and I'm like, I ain't going in there. But my wife, she had to go, and so she went in. She had used one before, but she's using this one a little bit, and she goes in, the doors close. Of course, I had to get change. They didn't have, it doesn't change. You have the exact change, blah, blah, blah. We get the coin, put it in. She goes inside, and I'm standing outside with the security guy and waiting. And I hear like a scream, and I'm like, wow, that's my wife.
That's not a good sign.
And then these alarms start going off. And I'm looking at the security guy going, what do we do now? My wife's screaming, alarms are going off.
Batamana.
And she's locked in this steel chamber. And he's like, nothing's weird to him. Alarms going off. And so she finally comes out. Like, didn't you hear me screaming? No,
I didn't.
But anyway, she tells me the story. She's still, after she was obviously pretty upset for a while.
Yeah.
But once she recovered, she told me the story. She went inside, and the doors closed, and she's inside, and she tells it much better. But she obviously got to drop her pants. It's kind of nasty in there, and I don't know if she hit something, but the door tried to open, and she pulls it closed, and she pants down around her ankles, and then these alarms start going off. and she doesn't know. And then water starts coming in and filling the floor, like it's suddenly the chamber is now cleaning itself.
It's one of those death chambers. They That's how the
So
Romans used to kill their enemies.
she's standing up on the toilet, on the toilet seat, as there's water swirling around on the floor and the alarm's going off. And she's like trapped inside this steel cage, steel chamber.
Oh.
And then, you know, she's obviously then the screams, but that didn't help. She's blocked inside the steel chamber. And suddenly the water starts going away, and the lights come on, the alarm stops, and she gets her pants up and the door opens and there's a guy coming in.
Oh. Wait a second. There was another
Take it at your
door?
own risk. Use it at your own risk. What's that?
No, wait a second. So there was another door? So you go
No,
into
the
one
same
door.
door, same door opened and a guy came in.
Well, wait a
But I'm
second.
thinking-
But I thought you were on the other side of that door.
But there's people coming in and out, and this guy went in and put money in. I'm like, what I'm going to say? Don't you? I mean, you went to use the bathroom. I figured I'd have to wait till my wife was
because
done.
my wife is in there. That's what you say.
Well, no, I'm thinking the door is going to protect my wife better than me. This steel door. It's only open electronically.
Well, that would give you a PTSD if nothing else would. I mean,
So I'm thinking she must have, for some reason, this chamber thought she was done. That's why the alarms went off and all the water started coming up to clean up the mess. And then someone came to put money in. Well, it's probably a good thing someone came to put money in. Otherwise, she'd still be there.
It's just another good thing in a series of good things that happen.
Yes. Like, it was actually very.
It's all how you look at things, Chris. Some people would look at that as like a negative thing, somebody coming into the bathroom when you're using it. But I think the optimist, would look at it and go,
it was a way out. It was a way out, Mike.
When God closes.
It's also a soil amendment. It actually works in the roots and engages a lot of the microbial elements around the plant itself, around the root system. So it's a product that encourages both seed treatment. We can treat the seeds, we can treat it in the furrow, we can put it in the soil, and we can also just apply it on the plant itself.
Food in Italian.
It was really good. I mean, the food was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I think because my wife is a really good cook, and we do eat a lot of organic, fresh food. It wasn't like wow, this is like amazing, but the food is very good. And I think if you're not used to really good food all the time, that doesn't mean you won't get some bad meals there. We did get a couple of meals that were like, they weren't that great. But most, like if you go into Trastevere, the old section of Rome, it's, depending on where you're staying, across the Tiber, the food was fantastic. Yeah, the food it's great. I mean, if you love pasta and really good Roman food is very, I mean, I guess food is, but the Roman food is very unique. And it's, all the really good dishes, a lot of the dishes that we eat in America, I think either come from Neapolitan style food or Roman style food. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But so if you go to Rome or Naples, the food's spectacular. The pizza's fantastic. Everything's great. I loved it. We had.
Well, we're there. We had our meals were all good, but we did have a favorite meal. We had signed up for a little bike tour with this guy named Luca, Italian guy. And he's big. He's into biking around Rome, tour biking. He's not motorcycles, cycles. Right. So we had little 10 speeds. There was 4 of us, and he kind of led us through traffic and to different sites. It was pretty hairy, riding alongside a big bus on these roads. People, honking at you. Nobody likes people on bicycles.
Nobody likes bikes. That's universal. You take a bike anywhere in the world, people are mad at you. My bike.
But anyways, he takes us on it's like a 3 or 4 hours. We end up cycling maybe 6 miles. Just kind of around the hot spots in Rome. But the best part was he takes us back to he called his studio, and he's a chef, but he can't, because of regulations, licensing, he can't get his own restaurant. So he brings us back. I think that's the whole point of his tour, so he can bring people back and cook for them. So he cooks this fantastic meal. I mean, it was like 3 courses. He ends with spaghetti, but he's got the appetizers, the caprese with the tomatoes and the mozzarella, and he's got melted cheese, and he's got pane, the bread, and he's got a few bottles of wine out there. And he was telling us about the food because he's a chef. And he was, we ate the tomatoes, like, wow, these tomatoes are delicious. And he's like, well, you know what? In what a lot of chefs, what they'll do is they'll find a farmer and develop a relationship and have that farmer grow a specific type of tomato the way they want that tomato. So, I mean, to them, the food is an art form. I mean, so you may have 2 or 3 different farmers growing certain vegetables that you want to use in your dishes. And
Chris, I'm going to call it quits here.
Yeah, that's
Quit
good.
while you're ahead. That's what they say.
Yeah, so we will sign off. Thanks for tuning in. Now you can touch your dial.
That's right.
And switch to the podcast.
Thanks for tuning in. Yes, and thanks for and thank you, Soruba. Little plug there for sponsoring. Sponsoring Soruba. If you really want to get generous, you might think about kicking us a few shekels. Yeah. What do you think about that?
A bigger check.
Soruba. Yeah. I love Soruba.
Anyway,
the products are amazing.
Remember, please read instructions before leaving Earth.
That's
And as we're traveling around, she's like, well, just use the bathroom in the metro. I ain't going in there.
No way. I'm going in my Depends again.
That's right. That's why I always bring an extra pair of Depends to Rome.
4 extra pairs.
4 extra pairs.
Yeah.
I agree. There's always a button that you do not want to push. They always put one
like a button in there. Like
and you flying a plane. And
that's
there's a button to push this button.
Why they have that in a plane? You know what I mean? You think about it, a button is something you have to push, right? That's a button. That's the whole point of a button. Push the button. But they don't want you to push that button. You think they just wouldn't put the button in there?
They gotta make things complicated. Hey, all these buttons are fine. This one, don't push this one.
Don't push that.
Usually it's the cool buttons, like